Tree Removal Sydney Cost Guide. In this video, we're going to be looking at the price of tree removal in Sydney, and we're also going to have a brief look at the laws around tree removal, whether you can remove it, whether you're going to need a permit, that type thing. So first up, averages. The average cost of tree removal in Sydney so far in 2019 is $1,290. At the low end, $350. At the high end, $3,900. That doesn't mean the prices can't be less or more than this. This is the average price range. The thing about trees is every tree is different. The access to properties are different. The obstacles are different, so it's always going to be a different price for your tree. I'm going to give you a good indication of what it might cost, but to get a really accurate price, for example, it's not like installing a ceiling fan or something like that where it's a standard price. There are so many variables. A tree service probably would, in 95% of the cases, would need to come out and have a look at the tree before they give you a firm price. But again, we're just going to give you a ballpark figure here. So looking at small trees, now I would classify a small tree as something being up to 6 meters, about the size of a single-story house. So $350 to $600. Again, a tree could fall outside of this sort of average range. If it's a really tiny, skinny, tall tree, or a one with a huge trunk, it might vary a little. But a medium-sized tree, so something 6 to 10 meters, $500 to $1,000 for complete removal, or a large tree, 10 to 30 meters, pretty big range there, $1,000 to $4,500, including the stump. Now, some of the things that you need to bear in mind that do add to the price of tree removal. Number one is time of year. It's probably the big one that most people don't think about. Cooler months, there's a lot less demand for landscaping, lawn mowing, tree work, that type thing. Same supply of tree services are around though, so with the supply and demand ratio being on your side, if you were to get a quote and get a tree removed in winter, on average it's about 20% less. It's just the way it is. If you got less phone calls coming in, you're more willing to reduce your prices if you're a tree service to win those customers, to keep things ticking over in winter. So a good little tip there. Other things that add, probably the biggest one just in general, is access to a tree. If you've got two trees, one in a front yard, one in a backyard, exact same tree, but the one in the backyard only has access via a tiny little side gate, it means that the tree needs to be dismantled in the backyard, dragged out manually to the front, and then fed through the chipper, whereas the one in the front can just be taken down and put straight through. So you're saving a lot of time, a lot of manpower having it that way. So some things you could do to negate the higher cost of one in a backyard is give better access if you can. If you don't have a rear access with a driveway, maybe your neighbor does. Maybe he wouldn't mind if you removed he or she wouldn't mind if you removed a panel of fencing. The tree service could back the truck up into their driveway, and you could bring it through that slot in the fence. If you're back onto a park, a laneway, that type thing. So worth investigating. The next biggest thing is probably obstacles, other than obviously the size of the tree, but obstacles. If you've got a tree that's in a clear backyard, nothing around it, the arborist just needs to climb the tree, drop all the branches, and then block the tree down. Easy as pie. If it's a big ugly tree overhanging a house, power lines going through it, whatever other obstacles, maybe there's a shed below it, a fence, whatever, that's going to add to time to remove the tree. Branches are going to have to be lowered one by one, and it's going to cost a little bit more. So all these kind of little things are what add to the cost of tree removal. They can be negated if you can remove obstacles. If you can't, you do just have to wear it and shop around for a better price. There's a huge difference in price between contractors. So make sure you get more than just one or two quotes. 3 quotes minimum is what we recommend. You're probably watching this video because you landed on GoTree Quotes, so the URL gotreequotes.com.au. What we basically do is we're a free service. It costs nothing for the customer. What you can do is you can order 3 quotes from what have been voted the best price local tree services in your area. So if you're in Sydney, just say you're in the inner west, you put in your postcode, so 2145 Greystanes. That's not inner west, but we're just giving an example. You fill in a couple of details about the tree, how many trees you have, the size, and there's just a couple more questions, whether it's residential, do you have council approval, yes, no, not required, not sure, and then a few details about the tree and some contact details. We then forward that on to the 3 closest contractors that have been voted best priced and best service. We do internal polling of previous users, so someone like yourself has used this service, they've put in their postcode, we've sent them 3 local contractors, and they said these 2 are really good, this guy was really expensive. We tend not to send the quote request through to that guy anymore, and we just keep the best price ones, so they keep sort of outdoing each other, and that just gets you the best price and the best quality service that we possibly can. Next up, tree removal Sydney Council laws. Just because you want to remove a tree on your property doesn't necessarily mean you can by law. Trees are actually considered the council, sorry, not the council, but the community's trees, even though they are on your property. So in general, any tree higher than 3 to 5 meters, you will need a council permit before you remove it. It does depend on exactly where you do live and what council you fall under. There are some exemptions. For example, willow trees, no matter the size, you can remove them. And there's other exempt trees that you can remove no matter the size or location. Other rules, like if the tree is within 3 meters of your home, it's got the potential to harm your home's foundations, so you can remove it. Other laws, like if the tree's dead, no, it doesn't matter how big it is, where it is, you can remove it without council approval. And also trees within the fire hazard zone. But at the end of the day, you're not going to know the specific rules for your council unless you look them up. There's a couple of really fast ways to do that. First up, you can go to Google and just type in tree removal laws and then your local council. So Liverpool, here we go, it's popped up, Liverpool Council. And we've got a few options here. Let's have a look at the first one. Okay, and we've got tree removal permit. Okay, so we've got exempt trees here: rubber tree, golden cypress, Norfolk Island hibiscus, privets, crocus palms. All those types of things can be removed without council approval. Other than that, it looks like you will need a permit. Another way to go about it, you might currently be on gotreequotes.com.au. Just go down to the footer, right down the bottom, and click on Council Tree Regulations, and it's going to take you to our page on council information. So whatever this is a list of all councils in Sydney. Just say your Ashfield Council, for example, click on that, and it's going to take you to the page about the regulations. What's it asking for? What suburb am I in? I'm in Haberfield. Okay, removal of trees smaller than 5 meters is allowed. Removal of privets, citrus, rubber trees, olives. So it gives you a list of rules, dead trees, that type thing. And these are all the exempt trees. So that's the best way to do it. Obviously, I'm going to recommend you do it on this site because we're going to take you to the right page right away. But you can obviously go through Google. That's it from me. Any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just put a comment in the box below and I'll make sure I answer it. Other than that, best of luck with your tree job. This is Ben.